up, guys? This is Casey is Raw again, and today we're going to talk about wrestling. And today I reviewed the 3 episodes on Peacock of what's called Dangerous Breeding. It's about Teddy Hart, the story about him in the last 10 years. I'm going to give you a heads up. This thing is definitely a hit piece, but the guy has no respect in wrestling, so the guy don't deserve any respect, so he kind of earned this hit piece. But if I'm going to have to compare it to, it's 100% like Tiger King. That's 100% like it. It's just mixed with wrestling, and it's even sadder at the very end. Instead of, good that someone didn't get murdered during Tiger King, but someone did get missing for over 5 years, heading to 6 years, about this one woman. I think it's like Sam Fuller, something like that. But the whole story starts when this guy was trying to do a documentary, and some guy suggests him to check out the indie wrestlers, and he just happened to come across about. So I think someone suggests about Teddy Hart because he's a crazy guy, and they went through it. Like, they talked about how he was the youngest guy, the youngest wrestler to sign a WWE contract at age 18. And then he also was the youngest wrestler who got fired from a contract from the WWE. The guy is just out there. He's crazy. He's out there. He heavily is about marijuana. That's all he does is smoke pot during this whole thing. It's funny they call it dangerous breeding, and you know how some of the younger Harts love cats. Well, I didn't know Teddy Hart had a thing about cats. Apparently, he had, when they went to, this guy, the filmmaker, went to this mansion. It's a big house, but I wouldn't call it a mansion. And I believe this was his woman that he called his wife's house, and he just kind of took over and put all this pot mobilia everywhere. It's literally everywhere. And then he'll have some of the Hart stuff, like on the fireplace. You got Bret Hart. You got, I think you got British Bulldog and probably Owen Hart or Jim Neidhart. But he's all about being a Hart. But he also had this one woman. Apparently, she was his wife's girlfriend. I don't even think they were married. They were probably trying to remember what's called when people, like a man and a woman, gets moved in an apartment or a house, and they've been there for a long time. They, as a marriage, but trying to remember what that's called. But maybe that's why he says, "Oh, this is my wife." But she had a girlfriend. And the whole thing is like the guy said, his whole life story and the documentaries. It's like Honey Boo Boo meets the Jersey Shore. That's what Teddy Hart really is, and I compare it to Tiger King meets wrestling equals Saturn. Because someone at the very end got missing, and and or dead. So, um, sad. I mean, there's only 3 episodes. I highly suggest you guys check it out, but it's wild. Um, they kind of talked about he's like kind of reckless. Like when he was in Ring of Honor, he kept on doing moonsaults off this cage, and to the point where he threw up. And what I was listening to Jim Cornette, he said he was there. He was throwing up into the crowd. Then he turns around and starts throwing up in the ring. And Samoa Joe was apparently upset enough that Jim Cornette had to hold him back. And then later on, I think through a YouTube video saying that he's not scared about Samoa Joe, or like if he had a problem, why didn't he tell me? And then he had this makeshift ring that had very loose ropes, and it looked horrible. The ring looked horrible. Like I can probably make something better out of that, and I mean, I can work with tools, so it just looks awful. It's definitely look handmade, but trying to think what else. I know he, I know the documentary person took off for a little bit. Then he got word that Teddy Hart was be accused of sexual assault, rape, and abuse, like an assault against these 2 women, and the documentary or whatever you call the guy, documentary person, uh, or the narrator, he said he couldn't believe it. The 2 women that was accusing of that was the 2 women he was recording. I was like, oh my god. And he said he didn't see this coming from nowhere. I mean, the guy was crazy, though. I mean, Teddy Hart, we all knew the guy's crazy. I mean, when you're blackballed from WWE this bad, I mean, been over close to 20 years since he got fired, that he didn't get I don't think he got a second chance. I mean, even when you had the new Hart Foundation that was coming up, you had Tyson Kidd, Natalia, and Harry Smith. And then Harry Smith, I think, went up and got released, so they were no longer the new Hart Foundation, or the Hart Found, the Dynasty, whatever they called it. So that broke that whole thing up. But I don't think Teddy Hart was even part of that at all. I know I just found out that he's not even his last name is not even Hart. He's related to the Harts. I mean, all those dudes are the males from in the Harts are his uncle. He's just married. He's related through his mom, and they had both his father and mom on there, and they were both cool parents. And his dad was quite straightforward about it. He was like, the only reason that I got him out of jail is because I got him a good lawyer. If she was my daughter and it was the exact opposite, she would be eating steak with me and Teddy would be in jail. I mean, it's a miracle that Teddy got out that charges, just because they're saying the 2 witnesses were talking to each other. I'm like, they lived with each other. They not only that, they report this stuff together. So of course they talked, but it was some kind of loophole that he got out of it. But then he met this another woman that he was recording. This is a different woman between those 2 and the person that got missing. And she seemed like everything was cool. Of course, they all say everything's going good. And then, of course, something happened. They went to a restaurant. They had a fight. And Teddy Hart's like telling the filmmakers, like, turn the camera off. To the point where, he's about to beat that woman. And, then I guess they separated. Or broke up. And then he met this woman who got missing after a few years. After a little while, I don't even think it was a few years. I think it was all inside a year. And this woman was Canadian. She traveled from Canada with Teddy Hart to go all the way to Florida to train for wrestling in MMA. And he says, oh, she got one punch. She didn't want to do it no more. But later on in the other episodes that, I guess he left her because he had enough. I assume he got tired of her. And he just took off. They together, it was him, Teddy Hart, this one woman, and another dude got this brand new Jaguar. And they were driving it in everywhere. I guess they were also, when they were in Florida, that by what they said, they sounded like they were living in the Jaguar. I mean, instead of putting money into apartment, they're like, oh, we'll get a sick ride. But, then their partner, this male partner, they separated. And then I guess Teddy Hart had enough with this woman. And this guy has a tendency, to take the women's ID, their passport, their cell phone, so they can pretty much be useless without all that. You can't get a job without no ID. She was in America without a passport now, and now she's an illegal alien, and she can't get a job unless they're going to pay her under the table. And she wanted to go back to Canada, but she didn't want to get reported and sent to jail. But she did go to jail, but pretty much when she got out of jail, she went missing. And the way how Teddy Hart was taking everything, he didn't look innocent at all. I mean, she was with a couple other dudes, like she was living with some other people. Teddy Hart was already gone and left, and actually went to prison at one point. And they were prison at the same time, I guess. But they say that Teddy Hart had enough time to go and meet her because he got out before she did. And she disappeared. And she's been gone for 5-6 years. So, it's a really good show. I highly suggest it. It's entertaining. If, like I say, you love Tiger King and Joe Exotic, you'll love this. But you'll also, if you're in wrestling, I'm pretty sure you don't have no respect for Teddy Hart. And when you watch this, you kind of lose even more respect. Even though I don't think that's even possible, because the guy is like a scumbag where he, treats women wrong. And it's sad. It's really sad, especially for all the women. And several of the women did do interviews with this documentary person. And later on, like in 2021. And I believe this released this past November. So it's been out for a month. So, I highly suggest it. I didn't know about it until, a day or two ago. And I was like... And I was going to sit down and watch the Ric Flair celebration of his career on Peacock. And I was told that they had this story, and I was just like about this documentary called Dangerous Breeding. It was like, that's Teddy Hart. I'm like, what's this about? And it sucked me right in. It got my Tiger King uh no, my taste for the Tiger King. You know, my whole feel. It filled up my hunger of that because I love that show. So this is pretty good, but I liked how they brought up this one point that there was a Twitter page and it says on its handle, it says, "Is Teddy Hart in jail?" And it would post every day is either no, 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 no. Then it's a report yes, and then it says what it is. Then is he still in jail? And they say yes, yes, yes until he's released, and it says no, 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 no. Then yes again. But I tried to look that up. Apparently that's not there no more. I heard they hadn't refreshed it since May, so wish the guy continued it. I knew about that Twitter page though too. So apparently Teddy Hart did a couple YouTube videos with someone, an interview, and it got really heated because they were asking about this one woman who got disappeared, and I guess he's getting sick of being asked. I'm like, if you're innocent, you don't act like that. Like I have nothing to do with it. But then he makes him sound guilty. It's like, quite frankly, almost like he said she had it coming, or like, she doesn't give a fuck about what happened to her. I'm like, wow, you're worthless, dude. You're heartless. And then he denies that he was in a relationship. It's blatantly obvious he was in a relationship with this woman. I'm like, dude, he's 100% a womanizer, and he says he's in a open relationship, and it was a crazy show. I highly suggest, like I said, if you like Tiger King, you'll love this. And it's 3 episodes, each an hour long. Highly suggested. The only thing that sucks, it's on Peacock, and Peacock's streaming sucks. And I wish WWE Network would leave that, because WWE Network was a lot better without Peacock, because Peacock sucks. I mean, it has movies, but what sucks, yeah, I'm okay if I pay cheaper, have ads, but the freaking thing lags. Like I was thinking I was watching on my Fire Stick, and it kept on freezing up. On my phone, it was fine. I watched the 3rd episode, so that is it. I'll talk to you guys later. See you. Bye.